On arbitration. I think we found out, even we talk about arbitration or dispute in any aspect, we put in commercial or legal, but we pick up that all the arbitration protect the interests of states or company. But what is the gate which can be created to protect also community who are being affected when the resolution being held by the decision maker or any judiciary system? Thank you.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a very important question to the arbitration community, and it has a number of answers. Do my panelists want to react to that?
Differently, I mean, I would think it's, ultimately arbitration is a consensual process. So if you don't have that contract, then you haven't had that agreement already. I would assume you're stuck, but you're the expert on that.
I'm going to be talking later on today in one of the quick sessions around 12 o'clock. And I'm going to talk about this court case that we had in South Africa about 3 years ago. It has to do with a seismic blasting activity that was undertaken by Shell on the Wild Coast. And so what you see in South Africa, and the end result was that that seismic blasting activity was interdicted by a community. And it has been dragged out now. The activities had to stop. It's been dragged out now for almost 4 or 5 years. So what is happening in South Africa, I can't address your arbitration question, but what we do see happening is that communities have a voice through the engagement process that nowadays has to happen in South Africa when an exploration and a mining right is granted. So our legislation has changed in the last 2 to 3 years by introducing topics like meaningful consultation with a definition attached to that, what that means, interested and affected communities when a right is granted. And they can exercise that right throughout the use, if you wish, of the right, and they have recourse to the courts and to the ministry that issues this right to raise their complaints. So Catherine also not able to potentially answer the arbitration angle, but there is at least good news for communities in that I think many of the mining ministries in Africa has learned that the communities are such an important stakeholder that they are catering for them in that engagement process. And they do have rights now to access, the ministries access the courts throughout the process to protect themselves.
That's very helpful, and just to complete the picture from the arbitration perspective, the answer is also somewhat good news, which is that many arbitration rules, and notably the ICSID rules that are adopted, as we saw from Alex's presentation in the vast majority of investor-state arbitrations, allow for intervention submissions by what are referred to as non-disputing parties. So essentially they're amicus curiae type submissions or submissions by affected local communities. And I have, in my practice, seen an increase in applications by non-disputing parties being accepted by tribunals. And what that means concretely is that they can make written submissions. Typically, their intervention is limited to written submissions, but those submissions are quite important and they're taken very seriously.
Catherine, just to add on to that, I mean, just on that point, a lot of the mining companies, a lot of the responsible mining companies also voluntarily submit to United Nations guiding principles. Those are obligations. Those are obligations that can be enforced. Submit to IFC provisions and the like. So I think there's a recognition, certainly amongst the mining companies, of the criticality of community relationships, respect for the community within that structured forum, and the UNGPs are a valuable tool in that.
So I see we're out of time. I'm looking